Wondering if you can safely use AI at work without risking a telling off from IT? The truth is, if you're waiting for your company to train you, you're probably already going to get left behind. AI is sweeping through the world of work like a rocket. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 simple ways to start using it today. To help you, I've created an AI guide so that you can put some of this into action absolutely straight away. And the link is just down below. So let's start with the number one concern I hear every time I talk about AI: security. Now, we all know that people are using it for work, even if they're told not to. And a recent Deloitte study found that nearly 1 in 3 UK employees are already paying for AI tools themselves because their organizations are still working out what to do about it. Meanwhile, only 50% of employees trust businesses to use AI responsibly, and even fewer trust the government to regulate it effectively. And despite that, 82% believe AI will make their work easier within the next 2 years. Now, that's no surprise, because many of us are drowning in inefficient admin, and anything that helps cut through that and get rid of it feels like a huge win. So if you're feeling a bit unsure about AI, you are certainly not alone. I think Marcus Sheridan, an online marketing expert, explained this perfectly in a LinkedIn post last week. He said that people were falling into one of 3 groups. The Puritans: AI is evil, go human or go home. The moderates: AI has a place, so do humans, let's get the best of both. And the zealots: AI is the answer to everything. So where are the smart leaders? I think they sit in the middle. AI isn't evil, but it certainly isn't perfect. It's simply a tool. And right now, the leaders who choose to understand it and use it and not just react to it will be the ones who stay ahead. So if you want to work smart and stay safe, here's what to do on the security front. Firstly, if you're using a paid tool like ChatGPT Plus, Claude Pro, or Gemini Advanced, where you're already paying $20 or £20 a month, you just go to your settings and switch on your privacy controls. It takes no time, but this will keep your conversations private. Now, if you're using the free version, don't panic. What you need to do is simply mask and anonymize anything sensitive. So instead of saying and explaining in detail your new product launch and any specific client, say a project launch for a major client. And instead of using real names, use person A or team B. With a little thought, you can safely use AI without putting yourself or your company at risk. Would I put sensitive data into a free AI model for analysis? Absolutely no way. But from my experience, you can still do an awful lot of tasks in this anonymous zone. Now, I've been working with AI, I suppose, about a year now. And when I started, I think my approach was a bit like fishing. I was bashing around ChatGPT, learning about what would work and what would not work. I was watching YouTubes and trying out what they suggested. And I definitely learned stuff. And I was quite good at some of it. And then I realized, realistically, would I actually use that in my day-to-day? And the answer was no. However, then I had a bit of a brainwave and I realized that instead of randomly fishing to find useful use cases, there was a much better way of doing it. I turned around the focus and thought about my workflow and what I was doing, and particularly what was taking my time. And in doing that, I started to think about, well, how can AI help me do these particular tasks? And I think the challenge for all managers and leaders and business owners, me included, is making sure that we spend the maximum amount of time on the high value activities that are going to make the biggest difference. Mapping this out gives clarity to where you should focus your efforts. And the Eisenhower Matrix is, I think, a really great way of doing this. It's a time management tool that breaks tasks out by urgent and important, important and not urgent, urgent and not important, and neither urgent nor important. And most of the managers and leaders that I coach spend way too much time firefighting on the urgent side of the matrix and not enough time in the important, not urgent, which is where the more leadership success they're going to have and the bigger their impact. So what I've learned is AI can help you in two essential ways once I started doing this. The first was saving time on repetitive admin heavy tasks, which will mainly be on the urgent side of the matrix. And the second is enhancing my strategic thinking. So helping me plan, prioritize, spot risks early on the important half of the matrix. I decided I was going to focus on how to improve these areas and experiment. Now, the key is to keep a conscious mindset so that I reminded myself to remember to try AI out rather than just doing it the way that I had always done it. And one thing that has made an enormous difference is using my two screens in different ways. So I have a laptop and I have a main monitor, and I do most of my work when I'm at my desk on my main monitor. And quite often my laptop was closed. So what I do now is I deliberately use my laptop screen as my AI screen, and I have the right tools up there. And what it does is help me remember, could AI help me do this? Because you have to remember, we're changing habits. So the less friction there is to use it really makes a difference. And even when I start, I often think, can AI help me? I even just sometimes ask it and explain, I want to be able to do this. What can you do for me to help me? And sometimes that explanation is brilliant. And I think, gosh, that's great. And I set it up and I try it out. And other times I think, nah, that is way too complicated and I don't think it's going to add much value. And I just do it the way I always did it. And this experimentation is a really great way of working out if it is a good way of working or not. So I've added AI into my workflow by practice and experimentation, thinking of it like a bullseye. Start with low risk tasks on the outer part of the ring, which on the whole save time, and then add those into your workflow consistently. And then as I got more confident and understood the tools better, I moved to the more complex but still safe tasks in the middle of the ring. So particularly exploring research and planning capabilities. But then there is the things that are in the center, the bullseye, which are all me. This is mine and your human only zone. So think of a stakeholder conversation. It would be easy to get AI to write you a quick update and email and send it over to that stakeholder. But how much more great the value it would be if you sat with them and talked with them and connected with them. You'll build trust, you'll build clarity, and you'll build alignment. This is where human interaction will work so much better for you, where you can connect and build trust. So this is so important to know for yourself. And to be honest, the only real way you'll find out what works and what doesn't is when you've tested it and found things that work, and then you put that into your workflow. If you're just starting out, here are 3 things you can do that will save you time. On the whole, I use ChatGPT or Notion AI, but you can use whatever tool is your favorite. And by that, I mean any tool based on a large language model or LLM. This would include ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Copilot. They're trained to understand and generate language, which makes them brilliant for writing, brainstorming, summarizing, and planning. And getting familiar with large language models is a perfect place to start, because when we look at where AI is going, next is AI-enabled automation, and then the development of agents that can do tasks and think more for itself, which is a whole new ballgame I'll talk about in another video. So what AI-enabled tasks made it into my workflow? The first is meeting follow-up. Now, I don't know about you, but this has always been a pain to me. I know it's essential. I know I work better when I have great records after a meeting or a conversation about what happened, when I've captured my actions. I just bloody hate doing it. And I was always keen to move on to the next thing. So I would kind of deprioritize it. Not anymore. So if it's a virtual meeting, I record it using Otter AI or Gemini in Google Meet. And then I take the transcripts link and I get the summary from the tool, and I just cut and paste it into my Notion, which is where I store my notes, but you could put into any doc. And I just check it, add any additions if it's missing something. If I need to send it to someone, I use that as the cut and paste into the email. However, if I have not recorded it, this is what I do. I record a voice memo straight after the meeting. I grab my phone and I just record a quick voice memo about the main points. I read my notes, I clarify the actions. Now, this is going to work for any extrovert because we find talking and thinking very aligned. It helps us think, but it's just so fast to get it out of my head and onto the voice memo. Then I copy the transcript straight out of the voice memo and into the AI tool. And I ask it to summarize this meeting, giving me clear action points and next steps. I get a professional summary every time, and I'm not kidding how long this saves me and allows me to mentally move on to the next thing so much quicker. Next, getting quick meeting agendas out. So if you need to plan a meeting quickly, just tell your AI tool, for example, create a 30-minute meeting agenda for, and then tell it what the meeting's about, what the outcome is that you want, any ideas that you already have, just can be bullet points, and then in seconds, you'll have an agenda, or at least 80% of it, which you can then customize to fit your exact needs. This saves you time from starting from the blank page and assures that you don't miss any important discussion points. You can give it a template that if you have a set agenda template, you can give it to it and say, fill it out this way to this template, and it will do so. Once again, in this situation, I find that voice notes is often the fastest way to get the information out of my head and onto the email and out. The third thing is drafting professional emails faster. So instead of spending ages writing emails from scratch, I jot down key points, paste them in, and then use the prompt, turn this into a clear, natural sounding professional email for a stakeholder. And the answer comes back in seconds. I spend a couple of minutes editing it and away you go. It halves my writing time. And what you're doing at the same time is still making sure it sounds like you. The key to learning AI is all in the practice and experimentation. So before you log off today, open your AI tool of choice and try just one small thing. Maybe summarize a quick meeting, draft a rough email, or brainstorm your to-do list. Just start. Every great leadership skill starts by taking that first step. Now, if you found this helpful, I've developed a simple AI guide to help you get going, and the link is below. It's packed with safe use prompts and practical tips you can apply straight away. And if you're looking for more AI use cases to try out and improve your leadership and work impact, make sure you watch this video next, which is 5 AI prompts that save me hours as a manager. In it, I show how to create the instructions to get really good responses. And you can see me demonstrating it live and the kind of responses I got, including an onboarding plan. So I'd go there next.